जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासति गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोविंद श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय नर्मदा माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण विष्णाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सकलरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सवलिता विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामिनित्य नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनित्य नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेषणेन पाश्चात्य मुखं करोति वाचालं मंगलं गायते गिरिमत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं सकृत एव प्रपन्नो यस्तपसास्मि च याचते अभयं सर्वदा तस्मै ददामि तत्व्रतं मम So Hare Krishna, welcome to all devotees to the online reading session, to the ninth session of online reading of the Patropadesa volume 2. So we're going to continue to read from page number 177, some from 20th April 2014. So I hope everybody is hearing me. I'm audible to them. No conversation. Hare Krishna, devotees are able to hear me? Yes. I didn't get any message from devotees, so that's why I had to tell once again. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we will continue to read from Patropadesa, volume 2, page number 177. 20th April 2014. Although your letter is in a comical style, the subject is surely not frivolous. Can anyone be a brahmachari in the West? Some have done so and gone on to take sannyas. What is the secret? If you can communicate that to S. Prabhu, that would be a great service. I don't think that any sincere male devotees would be ecstatic if he were to marry. 22nd April 2014. I do not consider anyone who supports abortion to be a devotee. My books are not meant for such people. Oh Krishna. Nor is there anything anyone could say to them to change their mind. That is up to Yamaraj. In lectures, I have several times said that it is only a matter of time before we see the first Bhakti Vedanta abortion clinic. I'm not joking. There are many important topics that I desired to speak. Sorry, there are many important topics that I desire to write on, and that will be important for future devotees who want to follow Srila Prabhupada. Let us see if Krishna gives me enough time for all this writing. 23rd April 2014. I suggest that you phase out the participation in your programs of potheads and others who want to practice Krishna consciousness according to their own sinful ideas. 24 April 2014. You may take saffron cloth from whomever you like, whenever you like. But if doing so is supposed to represent a commitment to lifelong celibacy, I advise you not to take it, at least not now. 28 April 2014. May Srila Prabhupada always bless you in your dedicated service. Quite often in Mahila Satsangas, the ladies like bhajans and shloka chanting but not much philosophy. I suggest that you try to preach gradually by reading from Srila Prabhupada's books for 10 minutes or so at the end of the bhajan sessions, and invite any ladies who might be interested to come at another time in the week for Bhagavad Gita study. 30th April 2014. If G. Prabhu wants to return to S, I will not stop him. He has not expressed to me a desire to do so. I fear that if he were to return, he would relapse into the same syndrome as previously and end up becoming another Grihastha practicing Krishna consciousness at a mediocre level. He has learned Hindi well enough to give lectures, which is good boost for the preaching here. 2nd May 2014. I think it best that L. Prabhu go outside S for at least 2 years. I have received several letters from the lady he became involved with the expressing her anguish, which she is unable to overcome. It was highly irresponsible of L. Prabhu to become thus involved. I doubt if he is fully emotional withdrawn, and I fear that if he doesn't pursue this relationship, then he will find another female. He could also marry that lady. but doing so seems to make little sense considering the age of both of them. I am not very willing to instruct him in this matter as he does not like to discuss it with me. He seems to pretend that nothing happened, and I doubt if he will heed what I say. 5th May 2014. Thank you, M. Prabhu, for this explanation of what went wrong. As you know, there are many devotees whose lives were badly affected by such situations. But most of them seem to prefer to, as far as possible, forget the past. Otherwise, living is too painful. 5th May 2014. Thank you for the extensive report. The Ritvikwadis insist that Srila Prabhupada is present now in the same way that he was up until 14 November 1977. So you could tell them to solve their dispute by approaching Srila Prabhupada, which is what devotees used to do before his departure. Their philosophy is riddled with inconsistencies, and best support for it seems to be the failings of the ISKCON that they believe is deviating. 5th May 2014. And Prabhu's suggestion that you take Harinam from me would amount to his rejection of you, or maybe your rejection of him, either of which would be extremely serious. As he is a bona fide disciple of Srila Prabhupada in good standing, it would not be proper for me to give you Harinam, as he has already done so. I understand that this situation is causing you much difficulty, but I am not prepared to transgress Vaishnava etiquette in this very grave way. I feel that it is also important that you recognize that you have received much from N. Prabhu and that you are mainly taking guidance from myself in future should not necessitate this breaking of ties with him. 8th May 2014. Obviously, there is no guaranteed cure in India. There are many Westerners in India and Indians also breaking all the principles. Even in Mayapur, where there are many Russian devotee youths, not all of them live according to minimum Vaishnava standards. It is common that devotee boys at that age go through a bad spell, and it seems that often the parents cannot control or help them. They just have to hope that the madness will subside. It usually does, but it may take some time, maybe a few years with hard earned lessons on the way. I suggest that J. Prabhu take advice from parents whose children have been through this phase. 9 May 2014. To effectively write on a subject requires that one have intimate knowledge of it, especially considering that the topic of varnashram is likely to evoke much protest unless very expertly presented. It is better that the student first hear and probably properly understand basic points of Krishna consciousness and write about them. 9 May 2014. Your desires and efforts are certainly laudable. However, before you embark on opulent service, please consider that A. The principal form of worship of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is by Sankirtan, not by opulent deity worship. And B. You must be confident that the new standard of opulence can be maintained indefinitely, for to reduce the standard would be offensive. Also, before increasing the opulence of dresses and decorations, it is more appropriate to introduce the minimum standards given by Srila Prabhupada regarding number and quality of offerings and artis, and that deity services should be performed solely by Brahmanas. 10 May 2014. Throughout your life, Krishna has put you in all kinds of situations that you could not have imagined. And you have gone through them all with great determination that arises from total commitment to Srila Prabhupada and his mission. After surviving various wolves, snakes, and mad dogs in the form of human beings, you should be able to cope with the generally pious people of India. For you, living in India is more unimaginable than in Greenland. But Krishna can be very humorous, and let's see what is his plan for you. Of course, I would be happy to have you in India, and so would G Prabhu and other of my disciples. In fact, India should be ideal for many senior devotees like yourself, who are not taken very seriously in the West, but who are well respected in India, if only due to their age. Although ISKCON India is plagued with its own blend of institutional problems, there are some heavens. 4th June 2014. I suggest you cool down a bit. Anyone who takes a strong public stance on any issue is likely to be slandered. If you get so upset about some gossip from a neophyte devotee in a private email, it would be better for your health to retire from any kind of public life, because much worse is to be expected. I had no idea that it was you who was being referred to, as the description given did not fit what I knew about you. I apologize for any distress that this or any other communication I have had with you may have caused you. But again, you should know that any strong stance you take will inevitably cause distress to some, and you can expect strong reactions, justified and unjustified, fair or unfair. 4th June 2014. I'm always happy to get your preaching reports. Often devotees only write to me when they have problems. But you almost always send me only your happy news, and I thank you for that. I know that you must be experiencing many struggles amid all your efforts, but you do not become discouraged, and you continue to enthusiastically go forward in Krishna consciousness. 4th June 2014. Certainly, it is laudable that you are enthusiastic to pursue Srila Prabhupada's plan for Varnashrama. But realistically speaking, without a dedicated team and an expert leader and also sufficient funds for infrastructure, you are unlikely to be very successful. If you lack these ingredients, it would probably be advisable uh, that those of you who want to commit to simple living and high thinking do so by settling as individual families in some rural area and cultivate the land and care for cows according to your capacity. The families can meet together morning and evening for sadhana. It is better to undertake in a small scale something that you can maintain rather than aiming for that which you cannot achieve. Of course, you could also try joining Varnashrama experiments in other countries. It will make much difference if you are from a village and have agrarian experience. You will need to work with established farmers and near existing more simple settlements. In your situation, you will have to learn much from non devotee farmers. Still, even good farmers who work their own farms mostly have no understanding for developing communities. So go step by step, and at each step, see if you are equipped to go further. Yes, this is called so go step by step, and at each step see if you are equipped to go further. This is called simhavalokanyay. Simhavalokana. Simha avalokana. That means the simha, the lion, is the king of the jungle. It goes the walking of the jungle, walking of lion is so intense, it walks like this, but it is also has an eye to the left and the right. So avalokan means it sees this side, that side, so walks like this briskly. So like that, that's called a simhavalokan nyay. So when we go step by step, at each step we have to see whether we are equipped enough to go further or not. So this is called, this is simhavalokan nyay. Prabhupada used to mention it. If you continuing, if you dedicate to cultivate land, better to not first buy something. You should be at least, you should be able to lease land along with a simple cheap house, as is often available with properties in that part of the world. 4th June 2014. I am happy to know of your continued enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness, and I am happy that your poor health continues. Sorry, I am unhappy that your poor health continues. Quite likely, the cold climate of Edmonton does not suit you, and you might ask your parents about the possibility of your relocating to India. Certainly, there is something very wrong if someone at your age has such prolonged and severe ill health. Okay. Okay. I would like to request Shubhankar ji to first continue to read from 10th June 2014, page number 184.
10th June 2014. K. Prabhu has publicly come out strongly concerning some public statements of yours that are certainly controversial. I agree with him that it is the duty of Srila Prabhupada's followers to uphold Srila Prabhupada's statements and not to contest them. Of course, Srila Prabhupada informally said some things that might be debatable, but he ascribed topmost authority to his purports. If I were a newcomer to Krishna consciousness, I would seek a guru who made a point to bolster his followers' faith in Srila Prabhupada's words. I would not seek a guru who appeared to consider Srila Prabhupada's teachings to be largely open to reinterpretation. In short, although K. Prabhu looks to me as a Siksha Guru, he is taking the lead in this important matter, in which I tend to follow his understanding. 12 June 2014. In lectures, I have sometimes mentioned that worship of a tribal god became the basis of a major religion that has much impacted the world over the last 2000 years. Rather than broadcasting your doubts, better that you do further research. You could contact some biblical scholars. Almost certainly the doubts that you have raised have been addressed by scholars. Whether or not their explanations satisfy you is another question. Indeed, many persons who take to the academic type of biblical study to enhance their faith actually end up losing it. In Srimad Bhagavatam is described human sacrifice performed by great rishis. That could be difficult to reconcile with ideas of universal axiomatic morality. 28th June 2014. Last night I dreamed that you were being inducted into the highest level within the institution, which was probably ISKCON, but it was unclear. You were clad only in a kaupin, and you were accompanied by a small group of devotee friends who were all junior to you. You had to go to a booth where a question was asked of you and you said, "I agree." Then, accompanied by a group, you went to another booth where again you had to say, "I agree." You became increasingly perturbed as you continued to visit further booths. At the final booth, you were supposed to be given an injection by a machine, but you fled, despite knowing that you were trapped. My position was an observer, as if seeing this on TV, feeding your disquiet but being unable to communicate with you. The dream broke, I rose and jotted a note. If sannyasa means becoming a mediocre yes man of a mediocre institution, better not take it. Make what you will of all this. I don't often remember dreams. 13 July 2014. Nakul is also a nice name, and I did not consider it a major fault that your son was thus named instead of the name that I suggested. The constraints of living in a joint family are understandable. It is certainly a favorable sign that your parents are now ready to call him Nitai, so please do so and continue to raise him as far as possible in Krishna consciousness. 14th July 2014. I am, of course, very sorry to hear of this. I believe that at heart your husband is a very good man, but that the pressure of trying to survive in the modern world has adversely affected him, as have the many bad influences that are ubiquitous in today's society. This world is a very strange and nasty place, and obviously I do not have a magic wand for solving difficult problems. Anyway, we can discuss this in L. Would it be all right if I were to share your letter with M. Prabhu, who is also scheduled to be in L as usual? We regularly share confidential matters as we help each other negotiate the various situations that we face. 16th July 2014. It is to the great credit of yourself and your wife that you are raising children who are extraordinarily saintly in comparison to the average kid nowadays. May Srila Prabhupada and Krishna bless you always. 27th July 2014. You have acted properly. Your father trained you well. He will be proud of you, as I am, and you have a good ally and protector in your wife. However, it is a mistake to speak to a woman privately with no one else is involved. A woman who asks to do that is after you, as you found out. Thank Krishna that you had the good intelligence not to be trapped. 14th August 2014. I appreciate your sincerity in Krishna consciousness, but your devotional life is complexly mixed with your emotional attachment attachment to El Prabhu. He should have known better and should never have got involved with you in the way that he did. He is misrepresenting the position of a monk by continuing to prolong this affair, although from another angle he may not be so much blamed when several of our big leaders set a very wrong example in their dealings with women. Neither of you have the will to stop seeing each other, and he doesn't want to get married. Even if you were to marry, it is doubtful that you would last long together, as the basis is only emotion, and there would be no dharmic purpose in such a marriage. In short, the whole situation is a mess. I have no wish or obligation to be involved in this mess, nor is there anything I could do to resolve it. I have repeatedly stated that I do not want to be involved in it, but that does not prevent my name being tarnished by my disciples' misbehavior. Under the circumstances, I also do not intend to initiate you. There are many initiating gurus within ISKCON who are more flexible than I in such matters and might be able to better guide you in your present situation. 18 September 2014. Radha Govinda are most definitely there, and they show all signs of wanting to stay. All their mercy is open for devotees who want to serve them, but they don't make it easy. 1st October 2014. Malawi Malawi preaching was started because Murari Prabhu had a desire to preach in Africa and is particularly qualified to do so. He needed some help, and I suggested that you go there when you were having difficulties in India. Now it seems that Krishna has other plans for Murari Prabhu. In the meantime, you have done well in Malawi, and now the responsibility is falling on you. I congratulate you on having taken up this service so admirably, and I wish you all the blessings of Srila Prabhupada to continue. 2nd October 2014. You could alternatively send me an email informing me of your plans. Your original idea was to earn money overseas and return soon to India, but your stay is prolonging, and I fear that you are getting caught in the world of dollars and cents. 2nd October 2014. I am informed that here in India he conducts Bhakti Shastri courses, reading only the translation of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and not touching the purports. He is knowledgeable, but what is the use of being scholarly if you bypass Srila Prabhupada? So I do not recommend hearing from him. 6 October 2014. Technically, according to Vedic standards, you are unmarried. But also technically, according to Vedic standards, a woman, especially one with a child, cannot be remarried. My outlook, which I believe reflects that of Srila Prabhupada, is to treat you the way the rest of the world treats you, as for all intents and purposes being married. If you had come, if you had come, if you had come unmarried to Krishna
If you had
consciousness,
come unmarried to
that
Krishna consciousness.
that would be a different question. But I have no objection if you wish to undergo this ceremony as a formality, even if only to satisfy those who consider you to be unmarried. I suggest that if you go ahead with this, to make the ceremony very low-key. 7th October 2014. Now there is an opportunity to train a new batch of men and set the yatra on the right track. It is almost like gambling to send these men on the normal course of getting initiated by gurus who hardly even know that they exist. It is meaningless to hope for the situation to improve in any other way than yourself taking charge of it. It would be foolish to do so in a brash way, but it would be avoiding responsibility to fail to do so. In my opinion, yourself and El Prabhu should undergo the required procedures and then let it be known that you are willing to initiate. Set a new model, the local, down-to-earth guru. 8th October 2014. You should research matters more thoroughly before buying a cow. It is not a light thing to bring a cow and then send her away. You cannot sell a cow, but you could give her to people who for certain will protect her up to death. 8th October in 2014. There are 8 types of marriage in Vedic culture, including Gandharva, simple exchange of garlands, and Rakshasa, kidnapping the bride. After Krishna married Rukmini by kidnapping her, he later on his return to Dwarka had Agnihotra to solemnize the union, but they were already married. In Vedic culture, a woman with a child is unmarriageable, but I guess there can be all kinds of adjustments for establishing Krishna consciousness in the Western Mleccha world. 8th October 2014. You are a real life figure in a Kafka novel. Unfortunately, you are not unique. No wonder Srila Prabhupada lists legal implication as a symptom of bad karma. 8th October 2014. Apart from the apparent theft and vandalism, this is typical G. Exemplary service for some period and then an extended period incognito. He will probably resurface after some months, but until then, there is probably very little that can be done to contact him. 10th October 2014. By the grace of Srila Prabhupada, soon you will be directly with Krishna, at which time all the trouble you are going through will no longer matter. But we hope that you will finish your books before you go. 30th October 2014. Plenty of enthusiastic kirtan will drive out ignorance. Please, 3rd November 2014.
5th November
5th,
2014.
5th November 2014. Please advise her that she may do whatever she feels is best for her spiritual life. 11th November 2014. Increasing manpower means primarily brahmacharis. You are likely to get diverted by catering to many neophytes if you focus on congregational development before having sufficient brahmacharis. 11th November 2014. Ex-Prabhu has worked very hard in the last few years to help spread Krishna consciousness. It appears that he now feels that he needs a break to attend to domestic and other matters. It is best that you respect his request and not pressure him. Please take this advice to attend devotional meetings in other areas, at least for the time being. 12th November 2014. It seems that for most devotees outside India who take initiation, simply to remain faithful to their vows throughout life is a great achievement, and even more if they remain married and do not divorce. So please be a good devotee, a good wife, and a good mother, and that itself will be good preaching and will please me. If you can assist your husband in helping to establish Krishna conscious farm communities, that will be super excellent. 13th November 2014. The 13th November 2014. Preaching is the essence, which suggests that a move to Central B would be best, but there should be decent facilities for Radha Krishna and their servants, and those who will oversee the move have to be committed and not abandon the project when difficulties arise, as inevitably they will do. 13 November 2014. I have read your letter and noted your resolve to go forward in Krishna consciousness. Anyone can sleep, but we have to pull ourselves back up by beseeching mercy from Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. The internet can be very dangerous, so please be careful. You should also seriously consider entering the Grihastha ashram. Obviously, it is not a very attractive proposition, considering the high rates of divorce and the disposition of most modern females. Nevertheless, it has its purpose, and most devotees. Uh,
Oh, Krishna. The problem is if I click somewhere, immediately it will go somewhere. Which letter you are reading?
16 November.
Yeah, 16 number. Assisted super excellent. Preaching agent that is central. Okay. Yes, I think this one. Yes. Internet could be very dangerous.
You
Yes,
should
Prabhu.
also you should also seriously consider entering the Grihastha ashram. Obviously, it is not a very attractive proposition, considering the high rates of divorce and the disposition of most modern females. Nevertheless, it has its purpose, and most devotees will need to go through it. 16th November 2014. I am unaware of any offenses that you might have committed, but if there have been any and you feel burdened by that, then please be assured that there is no grudge from my side and all forgiveness is there. 25th November,
No, 17th.
17th November 2014. Your analysis is correct. I am generally not in favor of women taking leadership roles, but this case is desperate and it is a relief that you are getting fully involved, particularly as you are doing so under the guidance or at least the cooperation of your husband. I have no objection and will be happy to see things develop there. 25th November 2014. It has come to my attention that you have written to devotees in U and D and maybe elsewhere also, soliciting funds. Please understand that most Indian people who go overseas are not particularly wealthy and are basically trying to manage their family expenses. Yet, as soon as they go overseas, their relatives in India expect money from them, and as soon as they come into contact with ISKCON, various devotees solicit donations from them. Most of them rarely complain, at least not openly, but it can be a strain for them. When a devotee comes, spends time with them, and shares his association with them, then they generally feel happy to make a donation, especially if he has a specific project for which funds are required. However, they might feel harassed and annoyed if they receive solicitations from a devotee they hardly know for a project they know nothing about. Generally, it is best to consult devotees who are guiding the spiritual life of anyone whom one wants to solicit a donation from. This is not very good etiquette, but can also prevent devotees from becoming discouraged by too many requests for donations. Furthermore, if devotees who are overseeing others feel inspired by a project, they can greatly help in raising funds for it. Another problem with your recent solicitation is that it is for a project that is not yet confirmed. Devotees who respond and send contributions will feel cheated if the municipal corporation does not agree to transfer the land to ISKCON. I know of several cases of devotees who have become very angry after giving funds for a proposed project that never fructified. No one will question that you are sincere in intent, but as you are new in such matters, it is best that you seek advice about fundraising, because particularly in Kali Yuga, misunderstandings and discord often arise in matters concerning money.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for reading.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare. Okay, Srinivas ji, are you there? You can read. Hare Krishna.
Audible, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, Prabhu. 26th November 2014. I don't much like the picture of myself taking up
No,
half
no,
the.
Yes. Okay.
I don't much I don't much like the picture of myself taking up half the frame as it seems rather cultish. Let the quotes speak for themselves and let us not mix Vani with the kind of personality cultism that is prevalent in ISKCON today. I think you know that daily I post a quote from Srila Prabhupada and these should get priority for posting on social media groups. Not that my quote should not be posted, but all members of ISKCON should understand Srila Prabhupada's position and not emphasize their guru over Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, this is very
26th
very.
November 2.
1 second. Hare Krishna devotees. This is very very important. Even while they are worshipping in their houses, specifically the Grihastha devotees, they should have Prabhupada's picture and other pictures in the altar bigger than Maharaj's photo. Maharaj's photo should be smaller. Every time Maharaj, whenever he goes to some other Grihastha devotee, they will have little bit bigger picture, and Maharaj tells to the secretary or the leader over there uh, to uh, to give them a smaller picture. So that's very very important. Maharaj always emphasizes this quite often. Sometimes we see that in devotees' houses, big posters of their guru. Uh, Sometimes the deities or the photo deities are very small, or the I mean to say the photo, the altar photograph is very small, but they have their guru and Prabhupada's picture very big. They print and they have it hung on their on the walls. So that also should not be done. So Maharaj doesn't want all these things. Even while posting in the social media also, better Maharaj's picture with the quote should be avoided as much as possible. When you see, when we actually, this one particularly myself, I take care very much when we are posting on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I post so many quotes from Maharaj books, but never I post with Maharaj's picture, even though that quote is directly coming from Maharaj, but I quote Prabhupada or Krishna, or I show the picture of this one, because this is cultism, and another word which Maharaj uses here. Maharaj uses cultism, personality cultism, that is prevalent in ISKCON today. Because this person is saying that would be correct, so it is not that, because it is coming through parampara. It is parampara knowledge. The sampradaya is more important. That should be glorified more. Yeah, the person who has said that, he's also important, but because he's connected to the parampara, that's why he is important. Because he speaks what parampara acharyas have spoken, so that's why this needs to be spoken. It's not that it is his. Even if the guru speaks something which other acharyas or previous acharyas have not told, we should understand it is by the mercy of the acharyas that he is being given that intelligence, so that he speaks, Krishna speaks through him. So the acharya's mercy, we can't avoid that. So we should always remember that acharyas, previous acharyas, Prabhupada, Krishna, everybody, that string, we should every time, that string should be followed. That quotes, whatever, mostly if you see the quote and big photo of Maharaj doesn't like much like that. Even if it is lecture given by Maharaj, better to have some other picture of like once it is, there is a lecture by Maharaj on sannyas ashram, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's introduction of sannyas ashram. There Maharaj's picture is being put, and that this is written as Bhaktisiddhanta's, I think, introducing sannyas, something like that. But better to have Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur picture than Guru Maharaj picture. So Maharaj is very very specific on that. But of course he is not. He doesn't tell the devotees. Previously he used to point out all these things to devotees and tell to the secretary, tell to the servant, tell to the devotees, leaders, those who hear. But generally, if the devotees or the center devotees don't hear, Maharaj doesn't tell unless and until they follow. Once, even if it is once, personally, I was there in one ISKCON temple. I don't want to name it. In one ISKCON temple, I was there with all devotees, Vrindavan, Chandraprabhu, everybody. We were there, and at that time, it was the birthday of the president of ISKCON, that ISKCON temple. Uh, and Maharaj was there in the Mangalarti sitting, hearing the Sikshashtakam verses, and the 10 offenses were chanted. And then afterwards, they asked slowly to Maharaj, Maharaj, today is our President Prabhu's birth anniversary, so can we just announce? Then Maharaj immediately told, what is this? From where you got this? Announcing devotees' birthdays. We only celebrate Acharya's appearance and disappearance. We don't celebrate anybody else's. And then slowly those devotees just went. They didn't. If Maharaj wouldn't have been there, then we hear so many devotees. Today is this devotee's birthday. This devotee's. This is all. This is called fascism. Another word which Maharaj uses. This is all cultism and fascism. So this should be as much as reduced. Even if it comes from Maharaj, we should always refer to Prabhupada. Through Prabhupada, it is coming to Maharaj. It is not that Maharaj own this one, something somewhere from all the clouds, somewhere Maharaj is speaking on his own. It is coming through Parampara, and Maharaj is speaking, even if it is speaking strongly or lightly or however way. That devotees are very, like, they like emotions. They go through the emotion. They just immediately boil down to emotions. They don't want Siddhanta. Siddhanta is secondary when it comes to emotions for them. So we should not go by the emotions. So emotions are secondary. The main thing is Siddhanta. So Siddhanta, we should speak. When Maharaj says about Siddhanta, we should say this is the Siddhanta which Prabhupada has said, and Maharaj is following that. That's all. We should not go by the emotions or the sentiments. Oh, what he will understand. Of course, if we should see senior, junior, and all those things. But this is very, very important, which I wanted to say. And Radesh Prabhu is there. Oh, he is not. He's out. Okay, I think he's out. I just wanted to tell him because he has more heard about this than myself. Okay, one second. I am just waiting for Radesh Prabhu to come on the line. Radesh Prabhu, I think he's caught up with some phone call. No problem, you can continue. When he comes back, I can ask him to speak something about this. Yes, Srinivas ji, you can continue to read.
Hare Krishna. 26th November 2014. May Srila Prabhupada and Krishna bless all you brave and glorious book distributors. Always remember.
Oh, what happened?
That you are taking so much difficulty.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Srinivas Garu, you suddenly connection got cut. You can read from first. You are hearing?
Yes, Prabhu.
Suddenly connection got cut. You can read from first. I mean to say, May Srila Prabhupada, like that, from there.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. May Srila Prabhupada and Krishna bless all you brave and glorious book distributors. Always remember that Srila Prabhupada and Krishna are with you and that it is for their pleasure that you are taking so much difficulty. Pray to them always and you will surely be successful. 3rd December 2014. I do not recommend that you guide young couples unless in conjunction with your husband. For you to teach women is acceptable, but all kinds of difficulties which may at present not even be imagined or likely to arise if you attempt to teach men, even married men, who are with their wives. Maybe the first thing to teach young couples is that only couples should teach couples. There are far too many cases in our society of marriages getting messed up due to not following basic precautions. There are dozens of devotees whose marriages are now wrecked because they and others thought that they were so fixed up and mature that they were impervious to Maya. What starts innocently can often end up disastrously. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So your misgivings in this regard are proper. Do not take unnecessary risks. 6th December 2014. Thank you again and again for your outstanding contribution in the service of Srila Prabhupada, who is undoubtedly very pleased with you as you continue to preach village to village, notwithstanding heat, cold, or rain. 12th December 2014. Preaching means much more than just giving lectures. It means helping people in how to advance. People have real problems and dilemmas that need dealing with, and they require guidance in such practical matters, one of which is homosex. 15th December 2014. Not only weddings, but all these samskaras are family affairs and should be done by grihasthas, not brahmacharis. Certainly within ISKCON, there is a great need for priests to perform samskaras. But if you continue to do them, it would be more suitable that you do so as a grihastha, and indeed by so much association with grihasthas in such social functions. The desire for marriage will probably arise within you. So my overall advice to you is to choose between remaining a brahmachari and continuing to perform samskaras. 15th December 2014. One small request that you might bear in mind if there will be other articles featuring myself is that I am not very fond of having large photos of myself on the internet. Such photos are there on my website, but they are for viewers who specifically want to see them. I'm afraid of becoming some tinsel cult figure.
Yes, again,
Hare Krishna.
again that point came. So
Yes,
again and again, Maharaj again and again, many a times he addresses this issue in ISKCON. This is very much prevalent in ISKCON devotees mentality. This is very much there. So Maharaj every time he addresses whenever this type of situation arises. So he says he a tinsel cult figure, personality cult, fascism. This type of words Maharaj uses, and this is true also. Yes, these are a fascists. That is called a fascists. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
15th December 2014. Definitely some points are likely to be seen as controversial, although not greatly so. As I see it, it is impossible to inform people about things they need to know without disturbing other people who do not want them to know it. Therefore, we often have to choose whether to benefit people or to remain so-called polite. My overall opinion is that you should post this, but of course, the decision is yours to make. 16th December 2014. I am not very disappointed with yourself or G Prabhu, so please do not worry. I understand that Grihasthas have to make many adjustments in their lives. Your plan to enliven the congregation is a good one. Probably best to work with devotees who do not earn very much and who should thus be less afraid of a sharp drop in income. Your preaching opportunities will multiply if you learn Hindi fluently. If your wife were to hold programs for children in your area, that will bring in their mothers also. Children who are exposed to Krishna consciousness will carry those impressions with them throughout their lives. 23 December 2014. As you plan to write more books, it is advisable that you make a serious effort to improve your English, which is not bad, but is not up to standard for an author. An editor should be given a manuscript in fairly good order. It is not proper to expect an editor to clean up dozens of basic linguistic errors.
Manuscript.
Manuscript, sorry, bro, manuscript.
Okay.
26 December 2014. Women who insist on not marrying but who want to take emotional support from the temple president are simply nonsense characters, causing trouble for others by their pseudo renunciation. He should tell them that it is not his duty to counsel them. For that, they need a husband, and if they don't want a husband, let them stew in their own mind. 26 December 2014. It is heartening to get good news of preaching, and I wish you all the very best. Certainly, Srila Prabhupada must be very pleased with you, and he is blessing you with realizations and preaching opportunities. Please continue as you are doing, being careful not to slacken in your sadhana, and always be careful of Maya, who often attacks hardest when things seem to be going well. 28th December 2014.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
One second. Yeah, you can read this one letter and we'll stop.
Thank you. Please assure A Mataji that my prayers are with her in this very difficult period of her life. I can only suggest that she remains patient and pray that D Prabhu will come out of this Maya before very long.
Okay, we will stop here and continue to read from 198, 30th December 2014. So we will stop here. Thank you, Srinivasji,
Hare
for
Krishna.
reading.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Devotees, thank you for your kind participation. And if you have any questions, you can ask for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Otherwise, we will stop here. If anything you want to ask or say. Okay, and Radesh Prabhu is also not online. It is nice, Prabhuji, when you. So Liliana Mataji is writing that it is nice, Prabhuji, when you choose points to explain. I didn't understand. That means it's nice when you choose points to explain. Okay, I can answer that, but before one Mataji is asking, it is nice, Prabhuji, when you choose points to explain. I didn't understand this. It is nice, Prabhuji, when you choose points to explain means what? Mataji, can you explain what you want to say? Your explanation in between probably it means. Yeah. Yeah, when we read a particular letter, yeah, while reading, yes, I can understand. While reading, then suddenly we stop and then we try to explain and then we say that we are continuing from this, continuing to read. So like that I do generally. So, but we can't choose the points because these come all of a sudden from somewhere. Like, we are reading and suddenly the points appear. So that needs to be clarified. It is little bit difficult to choose before we explain. It comes like in the flow. You explain some of what Maharaj writes. Yeah, I try to explain because we hear from devotees regarding those things, which Maharaj has given some more, what I can say, some more light on that topic. Like I explained, fascism and all. Maharaj doesn't write about this here, but Maharaj has said to devotees. We hear from Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, who's Maharaj's servant, and other devotees about this. So that's why I had to explain like that. Okay. And now Prasanjit Saha. Prasanjit, Bhakta Prasanjit is asking, please explain Prabhuji the letter 10th June 2014. If I were new to Krishna consciousness. Okay, let me take the letter. 10th June 2014. Okay, what Maharaj writes here. Oh, Krishna. We'll read the whole letter because then only we will come to understand. 10th June 2014. K. Prabhu has publicly come out strongly concerning some public statements of yours that are certainly controversial. I agree with him that it is the duty of Srila Prabhupada's followers to uphold Srila Prabhupada's statements and not to contest them. Of course, Srila Prabhupada informally said some things that might be debatable, but he ascribed topmost authority to his purports. That means books are the basis. He has Prabhupada would have spoken about these statements in many places, but Prabhupada, he has, when he writes in books, that becomes prominent and authoritative, and nobody can debate on that. See, that's why Maharaj is of course Srila Prabhupada informally said that some things that might be debatable, but he ascribed topmost authority to his purports. That means purports are in his books. If I were a newcomer to Krishna consciousness, I would seek a guru who had a point to bolster his followers' faith in Srila Prabhupada's words. Yes. I would not seek a guru who appeared to consider Srila Prabhupada's teachings to be largely open to reinterpretation. Okay. So Prabhupada's books need to be understood as how Prabhupada wants us to understand, not that somebody reinterprets Prabhupada. Of course, giving explanation is not interpretation. Interpretation means, which is Prabhupada said, interpretation is required only when things are not clear. This is very profound definition which Prabhupada gave in his Bhagavad Gita lectures, in the first chapter, second chapter lectures. If you hear Prabhupada many times, he says that interpretation is only necessary when things are not clear. When things are clear, why it need to be interpreted? Why need to give a different meaning out of context? So So Maharaj is trying to emphasize here that if I were a newcomer, we should seek a guru who only bolsters. That means he tells that his followers should have faith on Prabhupada's words. That guru only one should accept. So I would seek a guru who made a point to bolster his followers' faith in Srila Prabhupada's words. Because people think Prabhupada words are there and Prabhupada words are there, Prabhupada words, but I am prominent, I will speak my words. No, we are here to emphasize more on Prabhupada's words, which are there in his books. That is more prominent. So that's what Maharaj is trying to explain here. Maharaj is explaining here. That's what we should not say Maharaj is trying to explain. Of course, Maharaj is trying to explain, but Srila Prabhupada words are very profound. So that we need to emphasize more and more. The guru's business is to show the light, just like the gold mine or diamond mine. So the person who digs it, he finds the gold and shows this is gold. He's expert in that. Diamond mine person, he's expert in finding the gold. Where is it? So like that, Prabhupada books are there. So we need to bring out those things. People keep somewhere books and then they don't show to people. They don't tell Krishna's name. These all things are going on. It is not like that. So we have to take them to Prabhupada. Prabhupada is our preeminent Siksha Guru that we should have. So we should inculcate that the faith in the people that Prabhupada is the preeminent Siksha Guru, and whoever Guru, he is Guru only because he is following Srila Prabhupada. That's what is here problem. You can hear Maharaj lectures on this point. Maharaj has spoken regarding this. We can follow that lectures which Maharaj gave in which are there in the book My Memories of Srila Prabhupada. In that there are many lectures concerning this point. A guru is guru in ISKCON only because he is follower of Prabhupada. Like for somebody may say, I want somebody may put ISKCON label, and he's using ISKCON people, ISKCON money, everything, and he's preaching business yoga. This is utter nonsense. So Prabhupada never said business yoga. Why you want to bring people through karma kanda, which Krishna he condemns in Bhagavad Gita. So this is called misinterpretation of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. This is giving entirely different context. They are saying that we are bringing people slowly through karma kanda process. Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita. Where Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita, he is cutting. यही संस्पर्शजा भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया अपहृत चेतसम. He is cutting. Krishna is not encouraging. हम थोड़ा we will give them material, like the magnet is there and we will show them magnet and then chumbak, that they will get attracted. No, Krishna never sees like that. This is not the way of preaching of Prabhupada. So that means it is misinterpretation of Srila Prabhupada. So that particular lecture is there where Prabhupada says that if you want to write about, if you want to give an interpretation on Bhagavad Gita, you don't take Bhagavad Gita, you give your own interpretation and write another book. Don't try to give Prabhupada's words and tell this one. It's like that. Like some devotees write a book and overall they read the whole book and finally they don't come to the conclusion that Krishna is supreme and Prabhupada is the only Guru. They will think that everybody is saintly people, all are Prabhupads, all are very nice, all are gurus. This is not Prabhupada's teachings. So okay, I can give the links of those lectures in the group. Those lectures we can hear. Okay. Sorry, I have taken a lot of time of everybody. It's already 9:16. So unless and until if there is any question or if they are not clear regarding this, otherwise I can stop here. Is it okay? Is it okay? I think. These are very touchy topics and points. These are very subtle points. It's not that we only want Prabhupada's spiritual teachings. We don't want Prabhupada's material teachings. There is nothing material or spiritual like that. Everything is spiritual in Prabhupada's teachings. It's not that Prabhupada doesn't know he is a Victorian. He was born in a Victorian culture of Calcutta. He was a Calcutta boy, Prabhupada says like that. So Maharaj has addressed so many times all these questions. Devotees can hear what it means to be a sincere follower of Srila Prabhupada. There is a series of lecture seminar given by Maharaj in Rishikesh. So I can give that link in this one in the group, so everybody can hear that what it means to be a sincere follower of Srila Prabhupada. That's that series of 4 lectures. In that so many things Maharaj speaks about all those things. So I suggest devotees that we should all hear those series of lectures. What it means to be a sincere follower of Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll meet tomorrow at 8 o'clock. same time. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to read from Maharaj this one. Thank you, devotees, for your kind participation. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sandebhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dante nidhaya trinakam padeyornipatya कृत्वा च काकुशतम् एतदहं ब्रवीमि. हे साधव सकलमे विहाय दूरा चैतन्य चंद्र चरणे कुरुतानुरागात्. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण.